Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. On Monday, Forbes magazine released its 2020 list of the world's highest paid footballers. Forbes said it compiled the list after talking to clubs, players, agents, commercial sponsors, and football experts in the United States and Europe. The players' final earnings include salaries for the 2020-2021 season, bonuses, and endorsements. Here is the top 10. Lionel Messi, number one position, of course, his total earnings, 126 million US. Cristiano Ronaldo sits in position number two, 117 million. Neymar occupies that third position, 96 million US. Of course, Kylian Mbappe, fourth position with 42 million. Mo Salah, 37 million. Pogba, number six, 34 million. Antoine Griezmann, he occupies the seventh position on 33 million US. And of course, Gareth Bale, 29 million. Robert Lewandowski, 28 million. Number 10, David De Gea, 27 million. And of course, this includes their salary, the winnings, and the endorsements. So, George, for sure, it's a lot of money. If I had to have a backup job, it'd definitely be a footballer.
Well, it's a lot of sacrifice that people would not make. And people see the money and say, well, you know what, I should have been. Look, these footballers are the elite. It's a reason they're elite because, as Arsene Wenger said famously many years ago, the number of footballers in the world who can make the difference at the highest level, that's only a handful. And these players are of that ilk, are of that description. And it's a rare skill set that they have. They are responsible for the livelihoods of many people, the success or failure of multi-million-dollar projects, and even greater than that, the emotional well-being of millions around the world. So they are finely tuned athletes. I think they're worth every penny.
Alex, I'm going to make you the judge. Anybody in this top 10 that doesn't belong?
Oh, no, absolutely not. They're all well worth that money. But the bigger question for me is, are we paying athletes too much? Is it outrageous and ridiculous now? Is it actually no longer serving even those athletes themselves? I mean, I don't know if you guys have covered this recent story of the two young footballers. George, have you guys covered that on the SportsMax Zone yet?
Which two young footballers?
The two young footballers who got into trouble was it in Poland?
Oh, you mean Mason Greenwood and Phil Foden?
Greenwood, yeah. For me, they're just an example of what happens when actually you're going into something that involves too much money and too much privilege. You know, these guys know, right? They know in their DNA. They know instinctive. Yeah. Rules are not for me.
Well, Alex.
Rules are not for me. I am a baller.
Alex.
You get me?
Alex, are you sure you want to do that? Because I'm suggesting to you, and you know this to be true, I'm sure, if these were young cricketers moving from Nevis over to St. Kitts to play in a youth tournament, and the hormones are raging because that's what happens in teenage boys, they would look to break curfew and go somewhere and try to bring girls over. So I'm just saying that at the base level, that's no money compared to the gazillions of Phil Foden and Mason Greenwood. So it's the same. Boys will be boys.
I disagree.
Well, you disagree?
6 weeks with cricketers in a bubble, and people were very respectful of the rules. And then B, I don't think you can compare the amount of money. It's incomparable. When you think of the highest earners in cricketer, that's some stats I'd like to see, Mariah.
Yeah.
You know, the highest earners in all their sports and what they make.
We have that. We have that list.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll look at that then.
But Alex,
I think
is it
footballers
fair?
who make too much money, I think it's not good for the world.
Alex, but that statement George just made, boys will be boys. Any comments on that?
Well, you know that he probably means youngsters will be youngsters.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so George, after today's release, and of course these earnings, Messi joins Cristiano Ronaldo as being one of the billionaires. Well deserved, right?
You mean one of the two? There were only two. Look.
Well, yeah, two.
Yeah.
So he's
look,
one
all right.
now.
So look, I remember telling one of the Caribbean's eminent journalists many years ago what footballers earned weekly.
Yeah.
He's the Caribbean's only Emmy award-winning journalist, Cliff Hughes. I was telling him that the guy was earning like £200,000 per week. his eyes really fell out of his head. He said, to do what? I said, play football. He was like, are you crazy? That must be an error. And I was saying, no, that was his salary. Then you're talking about his goal scored bonuses. The team winning, he gets a bonus for that. The team going deep in competitions, he gets a bonus for that. Then his endorsement, they pay him to shave. They pay him to wear underwear. They pay him to use deodorant. They pay him to drink water. And he couldn't believe. And I'm saying, the football can afford to pay the players this because what football makes, remember, the men, imagine what Messi earns at Barcelona. And imagine, well, Barcelona is not a good example because Barcelona is a club owned by its supporters. Let's look at Chelsea then. What Chelsea's owner, Abramovich, pays his players eye-watering sums of money. Imagine what he is worth. Imagine how much the business earns. So footballers get paid a fraction of what the business turns over in terms of revenue, literally speaking, revenue. And the fraction that they get is able to be sustained by the business. So there's nothing wrong in paying the people who put bums on seats, who cause people all around to pay for subscriptions, who cause children to go and say, Auntie Alex, I want to buy that pair of Reebok that Usain Bolt, that pair of Puma that Usain Bolt wears, or I want the Reebok that Naomi Osaka wears, or I want the headband that Serena wears. These are the guys who do that.
They are worth that value. They are worth that monetary value. I am making a broader point about society. So you see it is very trendy now as a long trend to rob footballers. Like very professional, heist sort of, criminals target footballers because there's so much wealth. And in fact, my point is a more global one, that there is too much wealth concentrated in the hands of too few, and too many people are without.
I understand the point from an egalitarian perspective, Alex. But to the point about robbing footballers, let's tell the viewers that footballers are robbed for one main reason. For a captive amount of time, the criminals know where they are.
Yeah.
They can break into their house, turn on the TV, see them playing and say, yeah, all right, you're playing right back in this league. I'm going to take some of your jewelry while you're playing. And sit down and watch you play the game and then finish cleaning out your house. So that's why footballers get robbed, a large part of the reason why.
No, but the point that George made where, of course, football, one of the, if not the top earning sport, which is why, players, they definitely deserve the money that's given. I know cricket, they've been struggling. Every time we talk to CEO of Cricket West Indies, Johnny Griff, we keep talking about the money and how, our West Indies players struggle for money. Where money is concerned, they struggle. So, we keep telling them about bridging that gap and ensuring that they pump more money or make those deals so that our cricketers don't suffer.
Can I make one more point? Thank you, Mariah, for making it about cricket. I try to make that point when our cricketers don't want to do media.
Yeah.
When our cricketers are not that interested in doing media, I would like to remind them that you are building your sport. You want your sport to be as big as it can be. And the number one way to do that is through the media. You build your sport, you build your own brand. And when I say your own brand, I don't mean bringing out a scent or a football, a jersey line. I'm talking about trying to sell your own personality to people so that they like you not only as a cricketer, but they're kind of interested in you. That is a way to bring more money to the game without Cricket West Indies having to get involved at all. I think each individual cricketer also has a role to play in that. DJ Bravo, I salute a lot. He's a guy, obviously, who has a big impact on the game in terms of his outreach to the world with his music and other things and, his antics on the field. But I want to reiterate to young cricketers around the region, anyone who might be thinking about getting into the sport, men and women, that you need to work on how you come across in your media. Media is massive, and it's a big part of getting money into the sport. Thanks. Rant over.
Yeah, football generates the huge profits that wealthy footballers can then put into sports like cricket and spend some of the excess money they have. Break time. We're all done with this segment. More after the break.